Alright, so don't get scared, but this happened this week. Some vein popped in my eye on both sides, which this can happen with too much pressure, for example during training, or even high blood pressure. Well, that's not the case with me because I measure it, but nonetheless it makes me look like a total zombie, especially with the prep phase going on. So just wanted to warn you guys, this is how I'll be looking for this video. Welcome to the 5 weeks out vlog. So we're back at the table. It feels like it's been a while since we've been here. I think it actually has been quite a while. We arrived at 5 weeks out right now, 36 days to be precise, and it's feeling quite heavy at the moment. These are the deepest weeks for me right now. The goal is, like I said before, to be 95% ready at 3 weeks out, so that's 2 weeks time for me right now to get there, and we still have quite some ground to cover to get there. So currently my lowest weigh-in has been 91.6, and we are going to aim for the sub 90 weight class. So that means I need to come in below 90 and still have room to carb load up into the show. So that means we still have to dig pretty deep over the coming weeks, which is what we're just doing. So there's been a couple adjustments. Cardio is now every day. Cardio is 20 minutes on pool and lower days and 40 minutes on all other days. I do it fasted in the AM, and I'm doing incline treadmill walking right now. Sent my check-in pictures to Callum this morning, which I'll pop some on the screen for you guys. So that's the current look. We're focusing on bringing in the backside, so digging the glutes out and hamstrings out, and that's been improving over the past week, so I'm very, very happy to see that. And now it's just time to dig even deeper into that and make sure we get all the lines out that we need in order to be at 95% at 3 weeks out. So remember, I also have a photo shoot at 1 week out, so the goal is to do 2 practice peaks, one at 2 weeks out and one at 1 week out, which will be the photo shoot. The goal of these practice peaks is obviously learning how your body adapts to certain amounts of carbohydrates, sodium, water intake, etc., so you can create the perfect formula for show day, and you don't have to stress about whether it will work or not, so you actually know exactly what to do. And that's why we need to be ready on time, and that'll then also allow for going into the show with some lower stress and actually being able to pull off some fatigue that last week. With fatigue I mean like all the lipolytics that you've been taking, like the yohimbine, the clenbuterol, and all the cardio that you've been doing, maybe even all the steps that you've been doing. Being able to pull that away the last week or the last couple of days before the show is going to improve your ability to load and obviously your energy on stage and everything. So that's what we're focusing on right now. Today, we're 5 weeks out. We got a pool session, and training is difficult at the moment because there's just not a lot of fuel in the tank. So it really has to come from the mind right now. So with training, the focus is really on keeping everything very effective at a minimal dose of volume. So pulled away most of the intensification methods, pulled away most of the higher rep sets, and also just sticking to simply 2 working sets per exercise, so 1 top set and 1 backup set, and making sure we get quality work in the session, not dragging the session too long, just getting the stimulus in, going back out, lowering the stress again, getting the food in. That's what we're gonna do today. We got deadlifts from the floor, conventional deadlifts, so that'll be interesting. Every day right now is like a chance to get better, but at the same time it's a mental battle between wanting to chill and wanting to take your foot off the gas because you feel so fatigued, and at the same time you want to win and you want to push harder. So it's a constant battle between those 2 things in your head, and you just got to make sure that every single day the one that says you want to win wins that battle, and you do your daily tasks. So that's simply what I'm focusing on right now. But I gotta tell you guys, this part of prep It's not a fairy tale, it's hard work. If you feel like shit, and you just gotta stick through it and embrace the challenge. And you know, the eye thing isn't really helping either, because it just makes me look like shit. So every time I see myself, I think like, oh gosh, I look like shit. Maybe I need a break. You know, those kind of things start to play with your mind, and it's important that you stay aware of that, and aware of the fact that you are in prep and that you do have a goal, and these kind of things can happen. It's the way you deal with it. So with that being said, let's go in today's pool session, and like Seth Froese said, let's fuck some shit up. Alright, so here we go with the pool session. We started today with seated hamstring curls, 2 sets here, one of 6 to 9 and one backup set of 10 to 14. Right here I'm doing the 6 to 9 set, and I have a spotter with me to carry me through those last couple of reps. I'm really thinking about pushing my quads into the support pad here, and then pulling my heels as far under me as possible, whilst trying to keep my low back pushed against the seat. Now this is the biggest challenge of all, because if you let your low back come off far, then you're actually lengthening the glutes, and your erectors will start kicking in, and it won't be just the hamstrings. So that was the set till failure. Did a backup set, then went to deadlifts from the floor. Just 1 set here, 6 to 9. And since I haven't deadlifted from the floor for quite a while, I just did a weight that I knew I was comfortable with for this session, which was 180 kilos, and it still felt quite heavy, to be fair. So I just got 6 reps here, and I tried the 7 rep, but I felt that if I was going to pull that one through, that one was going to pull through my lower back, so stopped it right there. Then after this we went on to the lats. We started with machine pullovers. Now this is a staple movement, I always keep this one in. I feel this one from top to bottom, the stretch right here, and then squeezing in, pulling the elbows into my sides and really connecting with those lats, firing them up before we go into our other pulling movements. This is one that Dorian Yates always used to do, and he said that this was the one that made his back the way it was. So obviously I had to try it, and honestly the feeling I get from it is just amazing. I like to start my back session with these kind of movements just to isolate them, create the connection, get the blood flowing there, then before we go into, you know, more compound movements where the muscles can kick in as well. So then we had pull downs reverse on the hammer strength plate loaded machine, 2 sets here, one of 6 to 9, one of 10 to 14. This is a 6 to 9 set. I did 60 kilos a side here and really tried to go to failure again. Since we're only doing 2 sets, those 2 sets got to be of high quality and high stimulus, so we got to make sure we're reaching failure here and just giving it our all at this moment. So that's what I did here. Then we went on to seated rows. Usually I will do this one standing to overload the shortened range more, but since that costs me a lot more energy to keep myself braced, I switched to the seated version where you overload a little bit more that lengthened to mid-range, so you don't really get the lat as short as possible. But that's okay, because most hypertrophy will happen in the lengthened to mid-range anyway, and by being able to brace a little bit more, I can actually handle the same weights here, which was very nice. After that we did some upper back work, chest supported T-bar rows, since the low back is already taxed from doing the deadlifts, so we're not going to do any bent over rows right now in this phase of prep. In the off season I might, because you just have more energy, you have more recoverability, but here we like to keep things smart and make sure we're not creating too much fatigue there. So just being able to focus on the upper back here. Again, 2 sets, one of 6 to 9 and one of 10 to 14. Then after that we went into our more metabolic work. So we got cable rows focused on rear delts and upper back. So what I'm thinking about here is pulling my elbows out in a 45-degree angle, as that's perfectly lined up with one of the functions of the rear delt. But obviously the upper back will also play a role here. We did 3 sets here of 10 to 14, so a little bit higher volume, but the weight is lower. Like I said, it's more of a metabolic stimulus, less rest period, and just keep the blood flowing here. After this, we had reverse flies for the rear delts to finish it off, and we did 2 sets here, one of 6 to 9 again, one of 10 to 14. Since now we have 5 total sets for rear delt, it's enough to do 2 sets here and just make sure we keep the quality high. It's relatively a small muscle too, so it doesn't need that much volume, but we do make sure to touch it since it's finishing up the physique quite nicely in a lot of side poses and gives you that 3D look. So we gotta train them hard. And that was the pull session all wrapped up. Alright, that's a pull session wrapped up 5 weeks out. Energy is low, power is fading away a little bit, but nonetheless, every day we go in with the mindset to win this. Every day is an opportunity to win. Training is not a task, training is an opportunity, and training is actually why we do all of this. We love training, so that's something that I gotta remind myself sometimes when I go in with low energy. 5 weeks, 36 days, nothing in my mind but to win every single day. That was today's video, 5 weeks out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow. And I'll see you guys next week when we're 4 and 3 weeks out. Probably feeling even more like shit, but just comes with the territory. So let's go for it.